Well, everyone, I didn't expect to get back on there this late. It's 12:24 a.m. East Coast time, and I was watching The Chosen. It's a series about Jesus' life, and it got to the point where I'm sorry. It got to the point where Jesus betrayed Jesus. Jesus literally at the Last Supper got down with the bowl and a rag and washed Judas's feet, knowing that he was going to go betray him. At the Last Supper, he told all the disciples that somebody in this room is going to betray me. How can you? It'd been different if it was a Pharisee spy or something that was, they were trying to track him down. But to have somebody that claimed to love him, that claimed to be his student, for 30 pieces of silver. Turn over the man. A perfect man that's never did anything. Didn't commit a sin, did nothing wrong. And to go in the middle of the night, set a deal up like a thief in the night. To have him arrested. Because Judas had his grand idea. He was going to use his powers to overthrow the Roman guards and overthrow Rome. The whole time Jesus plainly in here, he reads talking about his body. He has to give himself up to die for us. I know it had to happen. And I know somebody had to have turned him in. But I'm glad I'll not have to see Judas in heaven. Because I would be tempted to put my hands on him. And you can't do that in heaven. For him to turn the Messiah, the beating of the nails being driven through his wrist and his feet. He didn't do anything to deserve it. But I tell you, I looked this up. Mark 26. Mark 26 to 20. Mark 26:24. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe to that man who the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man if he had not been born. That's not the only part. That's not the only part of the Bible that's written. Let's flip on over to Mark 14:21. Mark 14. That's all right, 19. They began to be sorrow and to say to him after another, "Is it I?" And they're saying this because the Lord said one of y'all is going to betray me. So each one of them's asking who it is. Let us know. We'll bound him up. We'll tie him up. We'll make sure he doesn't do it. So I'm giving a little backstory. So I'm going to read a little bit before. And then when the evening came with the 12, and as they were reclining at the table and eating, Jesus said, "Truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They began to be sorrow and to say to him, one after another, "Is it I?" He said to them, "It is one of the 12, one who is dipping bread into the dish with me. For the Son of Man goes as is written of him. But woe to the man whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man had never been born." So, Judas, I'm glad I'm never going to see you. I'm glad you went out back and hung yourself. I'm glad you were tormented by the demonic spirits that got a hold of you. And I hope they torment you all of eternity. Like it says in Revelation, when you're going to be put in the sulphurous fiery abyss. I hope it burns. I hope it constantly burns. How you turned over your friend, your mentor, the world's Messiah, for 30 pieces of silver. So I'm going to be glad I don't see you. I'm going to be glad that the devil gets to play with you. And I'm glad, I know he's been doing it now for 2,000 years. Over 2,000 years. To sit and portray somebody that you're supposed to love. You know. Because you've got some convoluted, crazy idea that he was just going to snap his fingers and the angels was going to ascend and dethrone Rome after he talked over and over and over. That's not what he was here for. And even Mary Magdalene knew what Jesus was talking about, turning himself over. What did it say? Because he wants to share the good news. God, yeah, Jesus knew that's his purpose. He had to die. That way could clear our sins. Why I use God for views? I don't use God for views. I'm trying to educate people on Jesus to get them into heaven. So, you right there, you're out of here. I just couldn't follow a man around for 3 years. Well, he didn't. It was the whole 3 years. Judas came a little bit later on. But to follow a man and see the miracles that he had done and trying to teach all the way up to the night before he was captured to try to instill in their heads. But it's okay. Judas won't get to be in paradise like the rest of us. I'm sorry, I got a little emotional. And I just needed a rant for a minute. I'm well past my bedtime. Thank you all for listening to me. I know I'm not going to see you all in person, but I know if you believe in Jesus, we may meet in heaven. So I hope y'all have a good night.